Moin, moin.
Welcome to the European server.
Hello, everyone.
So Moin is, I think, German for good morning. Anyway, the purpose on this video is mostly going to be just demonstrating how to be invisible to the enemy. You know, kind of invisible. So I've got ECM, electronic countermeasure, which means that unless somebody is within about 200 meters, they cannot lock onto me. You see that blue eye icon on the right side of my screen? That shows that my ECM is working. And in a minute, you'll see the blue eye icon above my allies as well. That means they're being covered by somebody's ECM. So what it'll do is, I mean, yes, they can still physically see your mech, but they don't see the little icon above your head. When they lock on to a target, they won't lock onto you, so, you know, they're going to see someone else and maybe say, well, that target has some armor missing, I'm going to go for them instead of this guy who I can't lock onto. It also completely prevents them from using, or well, from locking onto you with weapons like long-range missiles, unless they have something specific to counter that. But that's something for another video. I'm kind of testing my heat there to see how quickly it dissipates. With this being a pure energy build, it runs very, very hot when you fire all of your weapons. This is a cold map, so it dissipates more quickly, but it's still, I'm still kind of limited on, you know, how much damage I can do at a time. So a lot of it has to be fire, fall back for a little bit, you know, cool off, and then move forward and fire again, which you'll see a fair amount of. So we have finally made it into the objective, that yellow zone on the minimap there. This is a domination mode, so basically one team has to hold that spot for a full minute, uncontested. Most of the time it doesn't really come down to the objective. It's, you know, one team kills the other team and then they can hold the objective.
Thank you.
So I'm looking out for someone flanking on our left side, because eventually it's going to happen. And the reason I mark that target is because if you look at the minimap, there's that green rectangle. When you call a target, it allows you to see them on the minimap for a few seconds, even after you actually lose sight of them. So I just barely poked up enough to shoot him, then I fall back. Then he's going to poke up again, so I'm going to shoot him again. So again, I'm combining that ECM with just, you know, terrain to make sure that they don't see me very often. Except right here, where I was kind of one of the only targets, you know, visible, because I was on top of a hill, so someone shot me on the side. This guy in front of me, I thought he was going to keep walking, so I was going to walk left of him, but then I wound up blocking him and made him, looks like, lose an arm. Sorry about that, teammate. And here I got tunnel vision and just, you know, focused on that Mad Cat, and again I was poking out higher than everyone else, so the enemy team saw me and shot me a little bit. It wasn't too bad. Sometimes my aim is terrible. I have no excuses. So even though I'm getting pretty close to the enemy team, they're still just barely outside of my 200-meter range, so they're still not quite able to lock onto me. But I noticed my ally is being affected by enemy ECM there, so I decided to go help him. And I bore right through the center of that blood asp. Here I go for that enemy Thunderbolt because he is a sniper build. That extended range PPC is all about shooting from long distance. And I want to keep pressure on him so that he can't do that. Also, if you look at the right side of the screen, my ECM is being countered. That's that red icon. I'm not sure what was countering it there, but someone probably had what they call an active probe, which will counter any nearby ECM. Anyway, I thought I was going to have to kind of abandon that Thunderbolt because I knew the enemy team would be circling around about now. And I really should have focused on other targets, but, you know, Thunderbolt went down. Here I should have tried to take off that Mad Cat's side torso to reduce its firepower. So here there's not much of either side left. I did finally override. It's a little bit of a risky call either way, because when there's just a few people left, then every bit of health that you have left really matters. So, you know, when you override and you overheat, then you start cooking yourself and doing damage to your internals. But if you don't override and you overheat, then your mech shuts down, and then you're just a sitting target, and they'll pound on you for a while if they notice you. Anyway, again, because of my ACM and my positioning, the other team is just ignoring me, really. You know, that Warhammer just completely turned his back on me to go fire at somebody else. This guy is doing the exact same thing, just firing at somebody else. And I should have used heat vision there, because that allows you to see through smoke. And there goes the last guy. So you'll see my damage is really pretty high. I think it was just shy of 900, but I only destroyed 400, I only destroyed 4 components, which tells me that I splashed my damage too much. One nice thing is, if you see my damage taken, it's only 191. Now, that's not much at all, so that means that I was doing a really good job of staying out of line of sight and letting my ECM keep me covered and keep me invisible.